I'm RC Jim.
Hello.
No, I'm not really that happy. This is not one of these videos that we like to be bringing to you with things such as this. Yeah, I headed out for a flight today. It seemed very underpowered taking off, but I got it up in the air. It was very high alpha, high angle of attack, but gradually it got going. I did most of the flight at full throttle just to keep it going. It was flying very nicely, but I needed that full throttle. And at about 3 minutes, I noticed that the power was dropping. And so I dropped the landing gear and I was headed to the end of the field to get turned around for landing. And the thing just totally died and put it into the bushes. So, not bad for a nose first dive into the bushes, but nonetheless, we got some significant repair to do here. So we're going to start by pulling things apart, see what all we've got. I've got a bag of pieces, and hopefully we've picked up all of the pieces. And we're going to attempt to stick it all back together again. So we will see how we go with that. Okay, got all those things all plugged in. That all looks fine in there. I don't see any further damage other than the end of the plywood here got busted off. This would be the glue that they used for the plywood to attach it. We have a rubber cement. More of the rubber cement there for gluing something on. Okay. And there. Okay, obviously we have the rubber cement in between those. This I don't want to pull it because it could pull it out of the join part. I want to cut that. That'll be the top. Down there like that. It's going to be the side to go in there like that. And then that will go back to there like that. Okay, what I'm doing now is a tip from John at the club, so thank you, John. And he was saying how that, a lot of people say to use hot water to get foam to return to its original shape. And he was saying, no, it works a lot better to just bend it back the opposite way and hold it there for about 30 seconds. And it will tend to straighten it out. So this bit down here on the bottom was bent over to the right. So I'm pushing it over to the left. Yeah, I'd say that's doing pretty good. And it's bent down a bit. I think just simply gluing it will get it back up there. Okay, we got a break across here, and then just the normal place where it would have been glued up there. It's got to come back together. Okay, we got a servo and a nose gear, so that's nose wheel steering. Where does that go? Right there. Okay, so is this, yeah, that's that piece there. So this slot is going onto there, and this slot here is where our servo goes. Oh yeah, this side bit here goes into there. so it's going to go on like that. And this is going to go up here, kind of like that. Just doing trial fits at this stage to see that I've got what I need. Okay, so that's going to have to go there and there. Okay, we got a variety of things at our disposal to help us with this particular repair. Got these carbon fiber rods, and I put them on the grinder and ground a sharp tip on the end of each of those. Some of them I've grounded on both ends, some of them I've ground on one end, just in case I might want one way versus the other way. I've got the good old barbecue skewers. These work really well. So those things will get put in as we join things together. We'll be using tape to help hold things in place, and maybe some clamps. And we will take it as we go. See, that's got to get glued there and there. As much as possible, I like to put as much as I can together when I can, just to make sure everything's straight. But some things, just the way they need to be clamped, will have to get done first. With the gluing, doing things in order is going to be very important. It's broken loose all the way back to about in here someplace. And I see this bottom piece is indented a little bit back here. And I'm trying to decide how much it needs to be indented here. I'm looking at lining it up on the outside mainly. Okay, so I'm going to have to get glue into all of those things along there. I think the next thing I'll do is I'll tape it to get it up like that. Then I will work on aligning things, and I'll put some skewers in down through that way, or probably the carbon rods, whatever, one or the other. Okay, so Gorilla Glue, we get a little bit of moisture in there. We get our glue out. I'll be using a blade to help work it into places, and maybe a wire. Okay, I got a thin wire here that'll help me to coax it in to the places where it needs to go. Just wondering about getting these wings off to allow me to move it around a bit. Okay, that gives us something that allows us to get in there with the glue. Now, get that lined up. I have to keep these wires out of it. Get it right side up again. Okay. This there, that there. Okay. Snip these guys in half. Okay, now this guy I want in here. Okay, so I'm lining everything up. I got the skewer on a bit of an angle to help give it a little bit more gripping power. I wet the thing a little bit. Get another one in here at the back. Okay, that's helping to get this joined together there in the middle. That seems to be in there solid. Sighting down the end here, that looks reasonably straight. It's looking reasonably good. Okay, so we'll let that cure. And while that's happening, let's do the nose. Okay, well the nose is an easier sort of repair. But you can see when I put it together here, I got a big gap there. And that's essentially because when this thing hit, it pushed it up that way and compressed all of this here. I'd like to get that out as much as I can. Probably limited. Just pull on it for a bit and see what we can do. So we're going to have it tight here and let the glue fill in the gap down there. And I don't think I'm going to put a skewer in this. If it breaks off again, that's okay. As long as it holds together while it's flying. You just want it lightly on there, but you want it hitting all of the appropriate places. Now by putting tape on there, it helps to keep the glue from coming out where you don't want it. Okay, I think that'll be fine. For the door on the one side of the nose wheel was broken half. We glued it together with CA and just checked to make sure that the thing was going to fit okay, because it was bent a little bit in the middle, but it looks like it's going to be all right. The two supporting pieces are both on a piece that doesn't have a break between the two, so structurally I think it'll be pretty good. But what we want to do is just add a bit of glass cloth and epoxy to the inside of it, just to give it some extra strength. Well, let's have a look at where we've gotten to with our repair. We've been piecing these things together, carbon fiber rods in there with pointy ends wherever we can get them. As we've been piecing together the pieces going forward, in certain cases we've had to sort of bend out on pieces where they've gotten scrunched. This whole thing sort of got scrunched in this direction. So there's a lot of things that they didn't quite line up, so we sort of had to push it a little bit to get it to straighten out. With the piece that fastened through here, sort of across here, through there, and down through this way, that whole thing was really hard to line up. I had quite a challenge getting this lined up, had to stick in this skewer in here just to hold that out into position. We had two skewers in each side, just short ones. I say skewers, it was the carbon fiber ones, just two short pieces, and it didn't line up quite exactly right, but it's really hard when you're pushing two pieces together like that to get it exact. So we worked as hard as we could to get it right. Had 2 more over here. And when all of this came together, the whole nose was bent over this way. But we decided to try and get this together as tight as we could. And then after we got it together, then we bent the nose back the other way a bit and held it over there for a little bit, just as far as we thought we could do it without busting anything. And you can see all the compression wrinkles through here. That's from the thing getting pushed back this way. So that helps straighten it out. And right now, this plane is mighty straight. You know, I'm really pleased with that particular part of the outcome. It might be a couple mils off, but not very much at all. Okay, so we got those. I got told before about the pitot tubes being back to front. I had the right on the left, the left on the right. They're supposed to stick out from the fuselage like that. So I haven't glued those in yet, but I pulled them out and decided we'll put them back. We've got to put the gear doors on still. Had to take the one off that was already on there that hadn't come off, just simply because we're dripping glue. And to drip glue into the hinges would have been a real issue. Okay, I think we showed you the tray in here, but that's all in place. We've got the antennas securely in place, and because the large battery goes underneath the receiver back into there, I've put the tape on here to hold the antenna wires out of the way. I haven't soldered in this. To do that, I really need to pull out the ESC. And ESC is loose in there, so it does need some attention. And then these EC5s are a pain to get apart to solder it in there. So for the moment, I think I'll keep it like this. But having said that, with the telemetry on this last flight, it apparently wasn't plugged in. I don't have any readings at all from the beginning to the end on the battery voltage. And of course, the battery voltage was the thing that caused us to crash. So that'd be kind of nice to have that soldered in there with a red wire, just so that we know it's always hooked up. So I might do that, even though I figure it's a pain. Wings weren't damaged. We just have them off at the moment to get them out of the way. Got a gear door down here that's going to have to get sorted out. And then, of course, we got some sanding, and then we'll do some repainting here on the fuselage. So, yeah, really pleased with how things are going. And we continue on with the project, but we're going to have a flyable plane again. Well, the repair is progressing well, and in the next video we've got something exciting to share with you, in that we discovered what the reason was for the crash. Yep, I'm going to tell you now, but very soon you'll see a link to it over here. And in the meantime, make sure that you subscribe so you have access to all of these things. Well, I'm RC Jim. You take care and fly carefully.